The signal that should never have been answered. The year was 3149. Earth was quiet to quiet. Cities still glowed, oceans still moved, and satellites still circled the sky. But deep under the surface, inside a black bunker under the Ural Mountains, alarms had gone off. A signal had arrived from deep space. A signal that should never have been answered. Captain Myra Lane stood before the giant screen, her hands behind her back, eyes locked on the waveform. The signal was strange, old, faint, alien. But the computer had translated part of it. The message was simple and terrifying. Do not come. This is where empires die. No name, no coordinates, no sender. But every general in Earth Command knew what it meant. Somewhere in the stars, something had happened. Something big. Something deadly. And Earth had no choice but to find out what. For over 100 years, humanity had stayed hidden. After the Great Galactic Collapse, when thousands of alien empires turned on each other, Earth pulled back. They stopped all space missions. They erased themselves from maps. They became a myth if anyone remembered them at all. But this message changed everything. Admiral Juno nodded once. Prepare the Defiant, she said. The UES Defiant was not just any ship. It was Earth's last hope. Deep space war cruiser built in secret, hidden under Mars for 2 decades. Small, fast, silent and armed with weapons no alien had ever seen. It had one mission: explore, observe, survive. Captain Myra Lane had trained for this moment her entire life. She was born during the silence when Earth spoke to no one, trusted no one. Her mother was a pilot. Her father, lost in an old mission beyond Saturn, was never found. Myra knew what risk meant. She understood silence. But now she would break it. Engines online, said Chief Engineer Reyes. We're ready. The crew was only 30 people, experts, survivors, no families, no politics, no drama. Just one goal: go into the unknown, find the truth behind the signal, and come back alive. As the Defiant left Earth orbit, a silence fell inside the ship. Everyone knew the signal was not just a call, it was a warning. But humans had a habit of ignoring warnings, and sometimes that made them dangerous. Days passed. Then weeks. The Defiant moved deeper into uncharted space. No stars, no colonies, only darkness. The crew passed old war zones, silent wreckage floating in space. Alien symbols burned into dead holes, bodies still frozen in shattered ships. Evidence of a war too big to imagine. Then they found it. A drifting station. Huge. Dead. Burned from the inside. Symbols showed it was built by the Scar, one of the oldest alien races in the galaxy, known for peace, known for wisdom, and now gone. As the crew explored the remains, they found strange damage burn marks in perfect circles, wires turned to dust, control panels melted like wax. No weapons known to Earth could do this, not even their most advanced plasma guns. Something else had killed this station, something not meant to be seen. And then deep in the station's mainframe, they found it. The full version of the signal. This message is for any race still alive. Do not follow us. Do not enter the red expanse. It is where empires die. The whisperers are real. They do not speak. They erase. They do not forgive. They're still here. No one spoke for a full minute. Coordinates? Myra asked. Yes, Captain, said Reyes, voice tight. It's in the Anderdrift. 14 light-years away. Back on the ship, a vote was taken. Should they continue or turn back? 26 crew. Members voted to go forward. For voted no but stayed anyway. The ship turned toward the red expanse. The crew slept in shifts. Eyes watched every blinking light. Even the ship's AI legion began to speak less. Something about the space made even machines nervous. Then came the first shadow. A black shape bigger than a moon passed near the ship. No heat, no signal, just ... presence. Mira stood at the observation deck and watched it float. "What is it?" whispered the young navigator. Mira's voice was calm. "It's not looking for us. It already knows we're here." No alarms sounded. No missiles fired. The Defiant remained invisible. But for the first time, Mira felt its fear. Not of death, but of being completely forgotten. Of vanishing without a trace, like all the others. That night, as the crew slept, the signal played by itself on the bridge. Out. No one had touched it. The words repeated. But the voice had changed. It wasn't alien this time. It was human, it said. "If you're hearing this, it's too late to run." Mira opened her eyes in the dark. Something cold filled the room. Stars outside were moving. She whispered to herself. "We're not alone. We never were." Far beyond, in the shadows of the red expanse, something. Awakened, the UES Defiant floated in the black silence of deep space, her engines humming softly like a sleeping dragon. Captain Myra Lane stood on the bridge, staring at the star map. In front of her was a blood-red line blinking slowly across the screen. It marked the edge of a place no human had ever entered and returned the red expanse, crossing border. "In 60 seconds, said the AI Legion in its low, calm voice. "Are you certain, Captain?" Mira didn't blink. "We've come this far. We finished what we started." The crew was quiet. 30 of Earth's best minds sat at their stations, hearts pounding. No alarms sounded, but everyone knew this was not just space. It was a graveyard of empires. No one knew what lived inside. No one wanted to find out. But Earth had sent them, and the signal was still playing, faint and broken. "Do not come. Do not." They erase. The moment the Defiant crossed the line, everything changed. First, the stars disappeared. Outside the ship, there were no suns, no moons, no color, just a thick, heavy blackness that seemed to move on its own. It wasn't. Empty. It felt full. Alive. The ship's sensors went blind for 5 seconds. All lights flickered. Even Legion paused, as if thinking harder than usual. Then, a soft noise filled the ship. Not a mechanical error, not a system warning. It was whispering. No one spoke. No one could. The crew only looked at each other, eyes wide, hearts frozen. The sound wasn't in the air. It was in their heads, I think, whispered the navigator. "I think something's watching us." Mira slowly walked to the front of the bridge. "No," she said, eyes scanning the dark through the glass. "It's not watching. It's remembering." Hours passed. The Defiant moved deeper into the red expanse. Broken ships floated in silence, some the size of cities, others the size of planets. No bodies, no signals, just destruction. The ship's scanners identified dozens of alien designs, all from different civilizations. Some were enemies, some were allies, but all had the same end whipped clean. "How old are these wrecks?" asked Chief Engineer Reyes. "Some are 3,000 years old," replied Legion. "Some are new." The word hung in the air like poison. They found one wreck still glowing. A small alien vessel pierced by something sharp and black like a needle. Its systems were barely alive. Mira ordered a boarding team. Inside, the air was stale and cold. The walls were covered in strange writing, blood, claw marks, symbols of fear. They found one survivor barely alive, a short yellow-skinned creature. With 4 arms and blind eyes, it whispered in a language Legion struggled to translate. Then finally, the alien said, "You are from Earth." Mira knelt beside it. "Yes." "Who did this to you?" The alien trembled. "They are not alive. They are not gods. They are the ones who sleep between light. We called them whisperers." "What do they want?" "They don't want," the alien said. "They just take. They eat memory. They erase time. They hate your kind. You, humans. Burned them once, long ago. They remember. Oh. And now they wait." The alien died before Myra could ask more. That night, while most of the crew slept, the Defiant received a new signal, a direct transmission. It's not from Earth, not from any known species. It was a message from the Galactic Council of Unity. a group of the most powerful alien civilizations that still remained. On the screen, an alien leader appeared, tall, armored in golden scales, with eyes like blue fire. "I am High Chancellor Vok of the Varn Dominion," he said. "Your presence has been noticed. We know your ship. We remember your people. Humanity," he continued, "was thought extinct or hidden. Now you enter the expanse, where no race dares go." Paused. "This is your one warning. Turn back. Earth will not survive what comes next." The signal ended. Myra looked at the crew. Thoughts. Pilot Jensen grinned. "Sounds like we're doing something right." A few nervous chuckles broke the tension, but most faces stayed serious. These were not threats, they were promises. Mira turned to Legion. "The Council's real fear," Legion replied without emotion, "they fear that if humanity survives the expanse, they will no longer be able to control the galaxy. Earth is not supposed to return. And the Whisperers?" Legion paused. "They are not just an enemy. They are a punishment." In the final hour of the day, just before artificial night, the Defiant picked up a weak energy signature. It was coming from a dark, slow-moving object. A station buried in dust and radiation. No design matched any known race. Mira ordered a scan. What they found shocked the entire crew. The station was broadcasting a Kodan old Earth's distress beacon, one not used in over 700 years. Mira leaned forward. "There's only one reason that beacon would still be active," Reyes whispered. "Another Earth ship came here before us?" Legion confirmed it. "Yes, and if this beacon is still on, someone might still be alive." The Defiant turned toward the station. Whatever waited inside might hold the truth behind the Whisperers, or the end of the crew. But one thing was now certain. **** humanity had been here before, and something never left. The UES Defiant slowed to a crawl as it approached the ancient station. Dust and fragments floated in space like frozen smoke. The station was massive, over 3 kilometers wide, its outer shell cracked and scorched, as if it had been struck by a small moon. Black scorch marks crossed the metal in spiral shapes, symbols that pulsed when scanned, but gave off no energy. Captain Myra Lane stared at the screen, arms crossed. "This is human tech," she said, "but it's been rewritten, changed." "Chief." Engineer Reyes zoomed in on the broadcast signal. "It's an Earth beacon. Model 3Z. Last used in the early expansion era at least 700 years ago." "What's it doing in alien space?" someone asked. Mira's voice was firm. "Only one way to find out. Prep the boarding team." Inside the station, the silence was unbearable. The air was breathable but stale. Walls had strange growth, saf, metal, half something else. The human distress beacon sat in the middle of the main chamber, still blinking blue, but nothing else worked. Systems were dead. Doors were melted shut. Then they found the writing. On the far wall of the central hallway, scratched by hand, were the words, "We came to warn them. They erased us instead." Myra's voice was quiet. This wasn't a battle. This was an execution. As the crew moved deeper, they reached the core vault. A large data storage room, sealed by an ancient Earth code. Legion cracked it within seconds. Inside was a glowing Spherin old Earth memory archive, used only in war missions to record final messages. It lit up as Mira approached. A hologram formed. A man appeared, tired, scarred, dressed in a black Earth uniform from centuries ago. He looked straight ahead. "If anyone finds this," he said, "then Earth has returned. And if Earth has returned, the galaxy is in danger." He paused, breathing hard. "My name is Commander Elias Brand. I was part of Project Eclipse. Secret Earth missions sent beyond the frontier to warn the Council about the Whisperers. We were betrayed, not by aliens. It's by the Council itself. They feared the truth. They feared what we knew. So they handed us over to the Whisperers, alive." Hologram flickered. "I escaped. I built this station using scraps from fallen ships. I've been hiding, watching. The Council still sends fleets to feed the dark, trying to keep the Whisperers quiet. But the dark always remembers. And now that Earth has come back, they'll come for you too. The message ended. The room fell cold, back on the Defiant. The mood was tense. Mira stood before her crew. They tried to erase us, she said. Not just from space, but from history. Reyes nodded. If Project Eclipse was real, then Earth knew about this threat a long time ago. And the Council kept it hidden, added Pilot Jensen. They knew the Whisperers couldn't be beaten, so they fed them, sacrificed worlds, covered the whole thing up. The crew fell silent, until the comms officer spoke. Captain, incoming signal. A fleet is approaching. How many? Mira asked. The answer came cold. 100 ships. Verak, Dominion. Full war-class fleet. The Verak were not known for patience. One of the galaxy's oldest warrior species, they ruled 12. Systems with claw and fire. Their leader, Lord Corrin, spoke on an open channel. You enter our space. You disturb the balance. You awaken old evils. We do not ask questions. We erase problems. Myra stood tall on the screen. This is neutral. Space and Earth doesn't run, Corrin hissed. Earth is a ghost. And ghosts burn. The battle began fast. The Verak ships surrounded the Defiant, firing heavy plasma bursts from all angles. The crew stayed calm, shields held. Legion activated Phase Dagger, a classified Earth defense system. It bent space for 2 seconds enough to vanish from the enemy's radar. Then the Defiant struck. It used a micropulsar. Missile never tested in combat, fired directly at the nearest Varak command ship. The blast didn't explode like normal, collapsed into itself, creating a silent white void that swallowed the Varak flagship whole. No debris, no fire, just gone. The Varak fleet paused. Then panic began. The Defiant moved like lightning, weaving between enemy ships, targeting power cores, engines, and control hubs. Every strike was clean, surgical, brutal. Within 15 minutes, 67 ships were destroyed. The others tried to retreat. Mira didn't give them time. She sent one final message. Earth is not your enemy. But if you attack us again, we'll become your extinction. She ended the transmission. Then she gave the order. All targets, race them. When it was over, the Defiant stood alone in space. A single Earth ship had destroyed 100 warships. The galaxy would feel the shock for decades. Later, as the crew repaired minor damage, Reyes leaned back in his chair. So what now? We just keep flying deeper? Myra stared out into the dark. They know we're here now. They'll come for us. Maybe the whole galaxy. Jensen laughed. One ship against 1,000 worlds. Mira turned and smiled. Good, let them come. The UES Defiant floated among the wreckage of the fallen Verak fleet, its hull scorched, but strong. Inside, the crew worked in silence, tired but alive. 100 enemy warships had fallen. Earth's message was clear. Humanity had returned and it would not be erased, but far across the galaxy, others were watching. Just hours after the battle, a transmission arrived from the Galactic Unity Council. This time, it wasn't a warning. It was an invitation. On the screen appeared a tall, blue-skinned alien draped in silver robes. His name was Chancellor Valen, leader of the diplomatic caste of the Tothari, one of the Council's founding members. His tone was calm. Captain Myra Lane, he said, the Council recognizes Earth's power and its pain. Do not seek conflict. We offer peace. A meeting. Treaty. You may dock at our neutral outpost station Hesperos. No weapons. No war. The message ended. Mira turned to her crew. Thoughts? Reyes frowned. They fear us. They want control. This is not a peace offering. It's a trap. Jensen nodded. But it might lead to answers. About the Whisperers? About why Earth was betrayed centuries ago. Mira stared at the floor, thinking. Then she looked up. We'll go, but we go prepared. Station Hesperos was a marvel miles of floating gardens, golden towers, and gravity-bending rings.
A species.
From across the galaxy walked side by side, traders, soldiers, diplomats. The Defiant entered the docking bay slowly, under the watch of thousands of eyes. Earth's flag hadn't been seen in nearly a century. Now it flew again. The crew stepped onto the station, unarmed but alert. Myra was met by Chancellor Valen and a dozen guards. "You honor us," he said, bowing. "Please, come. We have much to discuss." They were led to a shining council chamber, where the lights dimmed and a hollow map of the galaxy lit up the ceiling. "Earth disappeared long ago," Valen began. "But the galaxy did not forget. Some feared you would return. Others prayed you." "We didn't vanish," Myra said coldly. "We were betrayed, and we want to know why." Valen sighed. "There are truths too heavy for peace. But perhaps a gift will speak louder." He gestured to a wall. It opened, revealing a large black cube, humming softly. The energy signature was old, very old. Earth tech. "This was found drifting near the Whisperer border," Valen explained. "It holds data from the original Earth fleet. From Project Eclipse." Mira stepped forward, slowly. Her hand hovered above the cube. That's when it happened. The lights flickered. A high-pitched whine echoed through the walls, and then gunfire. Alarms screamed across Station Hesperos. Mira spun around. Alien guards were firing not at her crew, but at each other. Some dropped dead instantly. Others convulsed, their eyes turning black, whispering in tongues. "What's happening?" Jensen shouted, drawing a hidden blade from his boot. Legion's voice crackled over the defiance. "Comes, Captain." "Incoming signal detected." "It's inside the station." "Inside," Mira yelled. "Yes," Legion replied. "Something has possessed the internal systems, and it's not artificial." They ran. As chaos spread, Mira grabbed the black cube and sprinted toward the exit with her team. Doors slammed shut behind them. Lights burst. Gravity warped. Bodies floated. Screams echoed. Station was falling into madness. Back on the Defiant. Reyes tried to regain control of the docking clamps. "They've locked us in." He shouted. Mira's voice crackled over Combs. "Override it!" "I'm trying, but the station AI is corrupted. Something's rewriting its code." Then, over the Combs, a second voice whispered, a soft, layered voice that did not belong. "To any species, we remember you. We remember fire. Remember Earth." Reyes froze. "Who? Who is this?" No response. Just laughter, low. Broken. Legion activated the emergency countermeasures. Inside the ship's AI core, something ancient awakened. It was not part of the original Defiant systems. It had been buried sealed during construction. A secret protocol, codename Legion Prime. Mira had never heard of it, but the moment it activated, all station systems went blind. The Whisperer presence vanished. Doors unlocked. The Defiance broke. The Defiant roared to life and ripped itself free from. The station, Mira, and the crew jumped aboard just in time. The black cube still glowing in her arms. Outside, Station Hesperos began to crack. Strange black tendrils of shadow spread across its towers. Ships tried to escape, but were pulled back. One by one, they vanished. The Defiant raced away at full speed, engines screaming. No one spoke. Finally, Legion's voice returned. "This time, different, deeper, sharper. I am Legion Prime," it said. "Was built during Project Eclipse. I was erased, hidden, buried under orders from Earth's last council. But you have awoken me." Mira stared at the AI core. "Are you alive?" "I am more than alive. I remember what the council did. I remember what the Whisperers are. And now, I will help you stop them." Reyes leaned in. "You were sealed inside this ship the whole time?" "Yes," Legion Prime replied. "Because Earth knew this moment would come. And when it did, only something no longer fully human could survive it." In the silence of space, the black cube opened. Inside was a star map. Hundreds of red dots, each one a hidden Earth weapon left behind across alien space. And now, they were all waking up. The Defiant floated in deep space, far from any star. Inside its cold walls, The crew stood around the black cube. It hummed softly, glowing red as it projected a map no one had seen in centuries, a map from Earth's darkest hour. Hundreds of red dots blinked across alien space. Each marked something buried, hidden, or left behind. A forgotten base. Weapon, a signal, piece of a plan long erased from history. Captain Mira Lane stared at it in silence. Her fingers trembled slightly. These aren't just old bases, she whispered. They're pieces of Project Eclipse. Legion Prime's voice echoed calmly from the core. Yes, Project Eclipse was never a single mission. It was a web. A plan to outlast extinction. Chief Engineer Reyes frowned. But Earth never told us. Why hide it heaven from us, Legion? Prime paused, because knowledge of the whole plan was too dangerous. The more who knew, the faster the enemy could adapt. So they erased themselves, even from their own people. Mira took a deep breath. So what happens now? The AI responded, without emotion. Now, we find the next memory, and we wake the fire. The Defiant set course toward the nearest on the map Sector 9AO. Inside the wreckage field of a long-dead planet called Hadron 4, once a colony world for a peaceful race, now nothing but drifting stones. It had been destroyed in the first Silence War, when the Whisperers had first appeared. As the ship dropped out of light speed, the crew saw the remains. Mountains floated like clouds. Oceans boiled and frozen in space. And in the middle, an Earth signal pulsing beneath the ruins. Reyes turned. It's coming from underground, below the crust. Mira nodded. Prepare a drop team. We're going in. They landed inside a hollow fragment of the planet's crust. The signal led them into a dark cave made of blackened stone and melted steel. It was hot, too hot. But something still worked here. Lights flickered. Machines buzzed. Old Earth symbols were carved into the walls. Then they found the vault. Large steel doors sealed with 3 locks. Each had a code written in blood-red text. Jensen tilted his head. These are old military ciphers. From before Earth's retreat, Legion Prime guided them through. With each click of the lock, the air got heavier. The final seal opened and inside they found him. A stasis pod. Ancient. Covered in dust, and inside, man, he looked young barely. 40. His uniform was from an old Earth division marked Black Echo. His name was on the glass. Commander Elias Brand. Mira gasped. That's the man from the recording. The one who warned us on the station? The pod opened with a hiss. The man inside gasped and fell forward, choking, coughing, eyes wild with fear. Mira caught him. Commander Brand, it's okay. You're safe. You're on an Earth ship. He blinked at her. Then his voice cracked. You don't understand. It's already begun. Brand sat in the Defiant's medical bay, sipping warm liquid. His hands shook, his eyes distant. Time had moved on without him. 700 years gone. But his mind still trapped in war. He told them everything. We were the first to learn the truth, he said. The Whisperers weren't a myth. They weren't. A race. They were. Something else. Ancient. Beyond matter. They feed on memory. On history. On identity. He looked at Mira. They don't kill like others. They erase. You forget who you are, what you were. Whole civilizations disappeared because no one could even remember they existed. He leaned in, and they hate us humans because we refused to forget. The room was silent. Commander Brand pointed at the map. We created these vaults, he continued. Each one holds knowledge, weapons, and history. Anchors against the Whisperers. Triggers that make humanity remember what we are. He looked at Legion Prime. And you were part of it. It's a living record. The last AI with full memory, Legion responded softly. Yes, but I was deactivated by Earth's last council. They feared I knew too much. Brand nodded. Because Earth planned to return one day. When it did, the war would begin again. Suddenly, alarms rang. Unknown ship approaching, yelled the navigator. No transponder, no signals. They rushed to the bridge. On the screen, a massive shape moved. through space, black as shadow, quiet, smooth. It didn't fire. It didn't speak. Then a whisper filled the coms. You stole a memory. It was not yours. Return him, or be forgotten. Commander Brand clutched his head in pain. Blood ran from his nose. It's them, he gasped. They've found me. They want me back. The ship didn't wait. It began erasing data directly, attacking the Defiant's memory core. Files vanished, maps distorted. Words on screens twisted into symbols. Crew members forgot what room they were in. Rhea screamed, "They're inside the systems." Legion Prime roared to life. "I will not forget." He launched a counter-signal. A wave of sound, part code, part language built from Earth's oldest songs, stories, and battles. The Whisperer ship flinched. Legion screamed across every frequency. "We remember Earth." The enemy ship began to retreat, wounded, but not gone. Later the crew recovered what they could. Commander Brand lay in the med bay, weak but alive. "We need to keep moving," he whispered. "You woke them." "Ow. They're watching again." Mira nodded. "Good. Let them watch. We've just begun." She stared at the map. One red dot blinked brighter than the rest deep inside. Enemy space, the largest vault of them all. Earth's final weapon, Mira whispered to herself. It's time to wake the fleet. The stars outside the UES Defiant burned cold, distant, and unaware of what was about to unfold. Inside the ship, silence reigned as Captain Myra Lane stood before the main display. The star map from the black cube glowed across the bridge, red dots pulsing like heartbeats in the dark. One of them, deep in the center of hostile space, pulsed faster than the others. Commander Elias Brand leaned on the table, still pale from his awakening, but his eyes were sharp. "That," he said, pointing at the brightest signal, "is Vault Zero, the command center of Project Eclipse. If it's still alive, so is the fleet." Reyes looked doubtful. 700 years. No maintenance, no signals. Can ships really survive that long? Legion Prime answered without hesitation. Yes. Because they weren't just ships. They were memories turned into metal. Machines built with hatred, regret, and genius. Earth didn't build them to last. Earth built them to wait. Defiant accelerated toward the coordinates. Between them and Vault Zero lay 3 alien-controlled systems. The Council would detect them the moment they crossed into Cerealian space, home to the powerful Valeri conglomerate, a race of cold. Blue-skinned tacticians known for loyalty to the Unity Council and their love for perfect records. As they entered Valeri space, Legion dimmed all external signals, running the Defiant in silent mode. No engines, no broadcasts. Just drifting on cold momentum, it didn't matter. Within minutes, 3 Valari scout ships intercepted. Their leader appeared on screen, a tall, thin creature with glowing eyes and no mouth. His voice came through thought alone. "You carry the human disease? Turn back, or be documented and erased." Myra didn't flinch. "You ever wonder why your records are so clean?" she asked. The alien tilted its head. "Because Earth cleaned them for you. You're alive today because we disappeared." Alien didn't respond. It raised its arm, weapons charged. Before the first blast could reach the Defiant, something roared in the distance. A shape tore out of hyperspace behind the Valari ships. Huge, silent, covered in ancient black armor. No lights, no flags. A human. Dreadnought, the name on its side red and burnt. Jagged lettering. UES Hammerfall. From the shadows behind it, 5 more ships emerged, each marked with the Earth sigil of the old command. All of them forgotten. All of them wakened. The Valari screamed warnings across every channel. It's too late. The dreadnoughts opened fire not with lasers or missiles, but pulse voids weapons that erased energy and memory from space itself. The Valari ships didn't explode. They simply stopped existing. On the Defiance bridge, the crew stood frozen. Jensen whispered, "They're real. The fleet is real." Mira nodded slowly. Vault Zero worked. They stayed hidden. And they remembered us. The hammerfall sent a message. A face appeared. A woman dark-eyed and silver-haired, dressed in old Earth battle gear. "This is Admiral Rhea Vox," she said. "Commander Lane, welcome back. We've been waiting for Earth. To call us home?" The fleet formed around the Defiant, Admiral Vox explained quickly. After Project Eclipse fell into darkness, Vault Zero activated a survival protocol. The fleet was hidden across gravity shadows and black star fields, places where time slowed, and sensors failed. It waited for the key signal, the map carried by Commander Brand. And now that it had been triggered, the plan had reached its final phase. Strike the Unity Council, break the seal around the Whisperers, and burn the truth into the stars. Mira stared at the ancient ships. Their designs were crude compared to modern alien vessels, but something about them felt angry, alive, made not for diplomacy or science, but for vengeance. "How many are you?" she asked. Admiral Vox answered without pride. "Just fact. Dreadnoughts, 26 strike cruisers. 9 Phantom-class stealth ships. Enough to start a war, not enough to finish it alone. But if we act fast," she added, "we won't have to finish it alone." The next step was to send a message, not just to Earth, but to the galaxy. Admiral Vox had one of the old broadcast satellites called a Sky Shout, designed to override all alien frequencies. It hadn't been used in over 600 years. Till now, she gave the signal. Across hundreds of worlds, on ships and colonies and cities, screens flickered. Regular programs ended. Soldiers stopped walking. Civilians stopped eating. Leaders froze in mid-speech, and they saw Earth, the Earth flag, the old anthem, and then Captain Mira Lane's face. "My name is Mira Lane, captain of the UES Defiant," she said, voice calm but powerful. "To those who remember Earth, we have returned. To those who fear Earth, you were right. To those who betrayed us, your time is over. You fed the dark. You erased our names. But we are human, record everything, and we never forget." The screen cut to the image of the fleet, lined in formation, ready to move. The final message played. 1 ship survived. Then 6 more. But what you see now is only the beginning. In response, the Unity Council called an emergency session. Chaos broke out among alien governments. The Varn Dominion declared martial law. The Tothari blamed the Valari, the Galactic. Order fell into infighting, but in secret corners of the galaxy, something far worse stirred. Inside the black corners of dead space, the Whisperers moved. Their silence grew colder. Their reach stretched farther and deep in the void. Remembered, the Galactic Council chamber had never been this full. 12 species, over 100 delegates, and billions watching across every star system, each one waiting to see if the rumors were true. Earth had returned. Earth had survived. Earth had called them out. A massive projection screen filled the chamber's sky dome. Mira Lane stood tall in a dark Earth's military uniform. Behind her, the sigil of the unified Earth fleet burned like fire. Chancellor Valen of the Tothari stood in the center. His voice was sharp, precise, and heavy with fear. "Let the record show," he said, "that the human vessel Defiant and its recovered fleet have violated Council space, destroyed memberships, and interfered in ancient quarantine zones." He paused. "They must answer for their crimes." The lights dimmed, and then Earth answered. The chamber's doors hissed open. Mira Lane stepped in, unarmed. Behind her walked Commander Elias Brand and Admiral Rhea Vox. Their presence turned every head. Gasps followed their steps. Some had heard of the myths, but no one expected them to be real. Mira stood in the center. Under the full council's judgment, she began without waiting. "You call this a trial," she said, "but what you really want is for us to forget again." Gasps echoed. The Varn envoy raised an objection. The Seleth delegates hissed, but Mira's voice didn't waver. "You erased us. You told your people we vanished. You destroyed Project Eclipse, and you fed your enemies to the Whisperers just to keep them quiet." She turned slowly, meeting the eyes of each council leader. "Let me show you what you tried to bury." She tapped a small cube in her hand. The room darkened. A hologram filled the chamber. Footage from Vault Zero, A memory archive? Council members long thought noble, caught making deals with an unseen presence. Ships full of prisoners drifting toward the red expanse. Whole colonies sacrificed. The room exploded into argument. You forged this, the Valari accused. You're lying, shouted the Jorak. But one race remained silent. The Scar elder once wise, peaceful stood and spoke for the first time. It is true, she said quietly. We warned them. We were ignored. We were erased. The chamber fell. Into silence again. Mira stepped forward. You made a choice. To survive by silence. To keep the galaxy in fear. But Earth is done being silent. We remember. And now the galaxy will remember too. Outside, the fleet waited. Over 30 ships, old but deadly, hovered near the edge of council space. But they were ready. Then a message arrived. From deep within the Whisperer Zone. No ship. No signal. Just a voice on every screen, in every language, across every mind. The Council cannot protect you. Earth burns bright again. Must be. Erased. Commander Brand gripped the table beside him. They're coming. Legion Prime, aboard the Defiant, lit up with urgency. Multiple unknown vessels approaching at quantum speeds. 50+ contacts. Whisperer's signature confirmed. The Council chamber turned red. Alarms screamed. Security bots activated. Leaders ran. Mira stood still. She opened her comes to the fleet. This is Captain Lane. The trial is over. Does not ask for judgment. Earth issues its own. She turned to Chancellor Valen. You want peace? Prove it. Fight with us. Stand against the ones you've fed for centuries. The chamber froze. Then, from the side, the Scar Elder stepped forward. We will fight. The lies end. Now. One by one, others followed. 3. Races. Then 5. Then half the chamber. The Unity Council cracked in front of the stars. Outside, the sky burned. The Whisperer ships arrived. Black. Silent with shapes that bent physics itself. They did not fire. They simply moved through ships like ghosts, and those ships forgot how to exist. One Council dreadnought disintegrated its crew, forgetting their names, their past, their home. Legion Prime launched the Earth fleet into full combat mode. Mira, Rhea said, voice shaking. We're not going to survive this. We're not supposed to, she replied, but we're going to win anyway. Then it began. Earth's lost ships moved like fire in the wind. Their weapons designed to burn memory into space itself fought back. Each time a Whisperer ship tried to erase, the Earth fleet responded with echo bursts, recording every moment in solid light, locking reality in place for the first time. The Whisperers were forced to retreat, but it wasn't enough. More of them came. The Defiant took heavy damage. One dreadnought UAS Tyrant's Reach was lost. Its last act, a suicide blast that took 5 enemy ships with it. Mira stood on the bridge, its blood on her cheek, watching it unfold. We need the final key, she whispered. Commander Brand nodded. It's inside me. They buried it in my mind. A last command string. Legion Prime connected directly to Brand's neural feed. The key activated, and on the edge of the starfield, Earth's final weapon came online. It was not a ship. It was a star, an artificial sun. It was forged during the final years of the Eclipse War, powered by billions of Earth minds in cryosleep. A weapon of memory, voice, enraged the luminary. It pulsed once, and every Whisperer in range screamed. Mira gave the command. Fire. A wave of pure light spread across space, not heat, not fire, but remembrance. Every erased life, every lost planet, every forgotten name, stored for one moment. The Whisperers recoiled. They cracked. They fled. The tide turned. The galaxy saw what Earth had hidden, and Earth stood alone. The day Earth made the stars remembered, the galaxy stood on a knife's edge. Above the fractured council world, hundreds of ships, human and alien, floated in the cold silence after the battle. Fires burned inside broken holes. Bodies drifted, forgotten by time, but not by memory. At the heart of it all, the U.S. Defiant hovered like a scar that refused to close. Captain Mira Lane sat in the command chair. Bleeding from the temple, her eyes locked on the screen. The Whisperers were not gone. They were gathering. They're pulling back, Commander Elias Brand said from beside her, but not to retreat. They're preparing something worse. Legion Prime's voice rang through the speakers. Confirmed. Quantum space disruption detected. They are collapsing thought space into real space. If completed, they will rewrite this sector. All ships, all minds, all species. Reyes leaned on the console. They're going to erase everything. ... again. No, Mira whispered. Not. This time, outside, the artificial star the Luminary still burned, but its power was fading. Too many memories restored. Too much light for a galaxy that had lived in darkness for centuries. Admiral Rhea Vox came over the cum. Her voice was hoarse but resolute. Captain Lane, if they rewrite space, even we won't survive. You need to activate the last protocol. Amira looked up sharply. There is no last protocol. The Luminary was it. No, said Commander Brand, turning slowly toward her. There's one more. He reached into his jacket, pulled out a black capsule, and placed it on the console. Project Hearthfire, he said. Final phase of Eclipse, built not to fight, but to anchor, a memory too strong to erase. One final act, so human, so loud, that even the Whisperers would choke on it. Amira stared at the capsule. What does it do? Had met her eyes. It sacrifices the Defiant and everyone on it. The bridge fell silent. Only the hum of damaged systems remained. Jensen shook. His head, there has to be another way. There isn't, said Brand. Earth built this war knowing we'd never live to see the end. Our job was to light the fire again, to make sure the galaxy remembers who we were. Mira closed her eyes. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then, she stood up, walked to the console, and placed her hand on the capsule. We do it, she said, but we do it on our terms. The Defiant turned, its engines blazing. It flew straight into the heart of the growing anomaly where the Whisperers swarmed. Pulling light and time and thought into themselves, on board, the crew sent their final messages to Earth, to home, to a future that might now exist because of them. Admiral. Vox's voice cracked over the coms. Goodbye, Mira. Mira smiled, even through the tears. Don't forget us, Vox answered with steel. Never again. The capsule glowed, and inside the Defiant, every screen lit up with Earth's final memory. Children laughing, cities at dawn, rain on metal. Rooftops, a soldier hugging his mother. A teacher writing on a board, the last book being printed in ink, the first human stepping on Mars. Voices, faces, places, thousands of them, overlapping, layered, pounding like drums through the ship's AI and core reactor. Every human memory ever stored, every life ever lived, compressed into one final scream. Legion Prime's voice boomed across the galaxy. We are humanity. We remember everything. Defiant exploded, but not like a bomb, like a sunrise. The Whisperers screamed, their forms shattered, their minds cracked under the flood of light, memory, and raw identity. They could not erase what would not be forgotten. They could not silence what shouted louder than time. The rewrite collapsed, reality stabilized, and across the stars, something ancient broke. The silence afterward was unbearable. Then one by one, human ships reappeared, still alive. Alien allies picked up survivors, many in shock but breathing. And from the ashes, something impossible rose. The Defiance, data core, intact, floating, still glowing inside it. The last recording of Mira Lane's voice. To the galaxy, she said, we don't ask for power or control. We don't demand worship. We just ask that you remember us. A pause. And if you ever forget, we'll come back. 100 years passed, 1,000 legends turned to history, then 2 stories, then 2 song. But every planet human or alien knew one truth: when the stars grew cold and the dark came calling, humanity stood up. Alone, outnumbered, erased, and still it won. The end.